What do you want to talk about?
Well, I tell you what, I do want to talk about tonight. Before we start, can we let's get some ones up in the air real quick? All right, just a moment of silence. All right, ones up, moment of silence. Okay, moving on.
All right.
Well, WrestleMania happened, guys. Did we have fun? Did everyone have fun?
I had a great time.
I
Thoroughly sports entertained.
I was thoroughly sports entertained as well. Yes. It's a new era in the WWE, boys, apparently. It is now the Paul Levesque, which I learned quite recently is the proper way to say it. I have been saying Levesque this entire time. Levesque. I blame that on
Levike.
being retarded. So
Unrelated, but there's a cyber truck that's apparently new to my town that's parked at the place in front of my neighborhood. So that was interesting.
how are we feeling about that? How does that make you feel?
It kind of doesn't. It's not stainless steel looking. It's you can tell this person definitely leaves it outside in the rain. I'll put it that way.
Mm,
It's got an interesting patina to it.
interesting.
Mm.
Well, let's see. We have one little bit of news that we wanted to discuss because it's pseudo relevant, I suppose. Did you want to read that real quick, Tony?
So basically, the NCAA, the demonic organization, that
National
unfortunately has
Communists
ruled
Against
over-
Athletes. Yes.
Right. They are set to approve a new rule that makes it so you can transfer every year, no restrictions in the off season.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
Not great. I
Not
mean,
great.
It really just, like right now it is semi-restricted. You can transfer once and then you have to if you transfer again, you have to sit out a year. Now every offseason you can just go to a new school that pays you more money. So
Right.
that's the state of college football until we crack down on NIL deals and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I think this is. I mean, this plays into something we've been talking about for a while, but NIL and transfer portaling in general. I mean, I know there's arguments for it, but the problem is it's like it wasn't a broken system.
Right.
So why did we feel like we had to go reinvent the wheel here? Unfortunately, we all know the answer, the almighty dollar. But it is what it is. But hey, look, we have something much more important tonight, right?
NXT stand and deliver.
NXT stand and deliver. I didn't really super duper pay a bunch of attention. I was a little busy, so I feel like this is a U2 conversation.
Yeah.
And
let's
and
look
then
up the card.
then when we get to WrestleMania proper,
I missed some bits and pieces of this because I was driving to and from work, but I caught most of it.
oh, look at you, Mr. Works on a Saturday.
Yeah, had to get some shit done.
Look at you.
Sometimes man's just got to get shit done. Okay.
So much better than us.
Let's see. So it opened up with Sean Spears and Joe Gacy.
Which I think this was a pre-show match because I don't remember seeing this one. And
Yeah, it was kind of a pre-show thing, and it started off with an interesting bang from Ridge Holland, blasting Gacy in the back with a chair.
Based.
Ridge Holland, who notably claimed to retire a week ago.
Right, which everybody was convinced at first was a shoot, but it was in fact a work.
Shocker. Floored by this revelation.
In fact, I think Ridge Holland has a match on the next episode of NXT.
Based.
I was thinking of based. I love a good fake retirement. Of course, nothing will ever top Mark Henry.
Gacy gets blasted by a chair, but still wants to go through with the match because he's crazy. And he and Sean Spears did some stuff to each other, and Gacy won. It was a match that happened.
Pretty much. And to start the official show, we had NXT Tag Team Champions, the Wolf Dogs, against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. And, the Wolf Dogs did win However, on this week's NXT, they did lose, marking the end of Braun Breaker's time in NXT. He will officially be full-time on SmackDown.
Yeah,
until
they
the
had
draft.
they had the overly dramatic stipulation, which was that if the Wolf Dogs won again, that the tag team of Frazier and Axiom had to disband and they could never team again.
That does seem a little dramatic.
Yeah, a little over the top, but when when the Rock's daughter is the GM, what you gonna do?
Sure. Oh, is that who that was?
Yes, that's who
I saw
Robin is.
her. I saw her the other night. It's like, who's this woman and why does she have a job? So, well, now there's the answer.
Well, they
That
were
is, in
trained her as
fact,
a
the-
wrestler, but she can't do that. So, because she's the Rock's daughter, she becomes the on-screen general manager of NXT.
Mm-hmm. Wait, why can't she wrestle? Because she just sucks, or
She just sucks.
Yeah,
oh,
she's not a good wrestler.
what a shame.
Let's see. So that match got followed up with the NXT North American Champion, Mr. Obafemi himself,
Built by
versus
Bama.
Dijak and Josh Briggs in a triple threat match. I don't think there was a single man in this match below like 6'6".
This match was
It's
fucking
pretty-
great.
A very good match. They were all huge. Took a lot of big bumps. Obafemi did pull out the W. Love to see that.
I think the moment that popped me the most was Dijak hitting Briggs with a Canadian destroyer. 6'7" cruiserweight, no big deal.
Based.
But the Obafem boys rose up.
The Oba Feminists did rise up. They won.
Are we going with Obafeminists, not Obafem boys?
I'm not a femboy guy, so
Are you sure about that?
not really a feminist
That's
guy
Devin.
either, but
You're thinking of Devin.
Then some big women's tag match happened, which is kind of a who cares. It's
I missed this
NXT.
match and don't care that I missed it. I picked the perfect match to drive home during said match.
You did.
Nice.
Then, of course, we did have our girl
Babyface
Roxanne
Drama.
Perez defeat Lyra Valkyria to win back her NXT Women's Championship that she notably never lost.
So true.
This match is pretty decent. Adam Paxley, the mentally ill e-girl that's obsessed with Lyra Valkyria, came out and tried to help her. Ended up throwing the match.
She has now turned on Lyra, by the way. That happened on NXT.
Yeah, mentally ill e-girl.
Yeah, redundant, but whatever. Yeah, she
this
threw Lyra
match-
Valkyria into some chairs
Yeah, she did. Based.
or stairs.
The next-
whatever.
The next match was Ilya Dragunov versus Tony the Don D'Angelo. Pretty decent match. It ended with Tony D'Angelo refusing to use the brass knuckles in a bit of a face turn and ended up losing because of it. So that happened. Don't know how I feel about that. I feel like the Italian Mafia should be using the brass knuckles and should be winning.
Yeah, this was one of those. I could never really tell with Ilya in an Ilya match, who's the babyface. I think it was Ilya in this match, but
Who knows, dude?
the Don also did the whole, like you said, the honorable heel. He was stomping on his hands the whole match, but he refused the knucks. So kind of weird, but good match. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
It was a fun match. I mean, Dragunov usually puts on pretty good matches, so. And then the final match, main event, Trick Williams defeats Carmelo Hayes. No title on line, just beef. It was a decent match, but it was also kind of short for the beef. But I guess they're still running with it. The beef isn't over.
It's not over. So you got Trick and Mello in a steel cage next week, and then the week after that, assuming Trick makes it to the match, he gets Dragunov for the championship. But if Trick loses, he has to leave NXT.
Interesting.
I could see that going either way, honestly.
So this match, there was something about this match that I really, really did not like. I felt like the commentary was burying Trick.
Was it?
I took note of this. They were basically saying, yeah, Trick can't out wrestle Mello. He's not a wrestler. He's a fighter. I was like, that's kind of a fucked up thing to say.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Whoop that Trick. We love Trick Williams in this house.
Yeah, he's beyond fucking. He's the most over guy in NXT, I would say,
Easily.
without any
Oh, yeah.
question.
So easily.
Now, in regards to
I
that match next week with the leave NXT stipulation, do you think they're going to call Trick Williams up already? Or do you think he's going to win that match?
I think he's gonna win. Like, here's my gut. I think he's gonna win because obviously Ilya has declared for the draft. So the logical thing
Right.
would, of course, be Ilya drops the title and moves on to the main roster. However, right, like, as over as Trick is, and as much as WWE kind of likes those guys that have like the extremely catchy, catchphrases or songs or whatever, Trick fits that slot perfectly. So it's kind of tough to say, but I think Trick goes over, and we see Ilya just go up to the.
So I'm gonna twist this on you a little bit because I think it matters just as much who's getting sent down from the main roster as who's getting brought up.
Oh, who's getting sent down?
So people that I saw on NXT yesterday, Ivar.
Okay.
Ivar stepped up to Obafemi and laid him out in the ring, which nobody has ever done before.
Oh, okay.
So they are pumping up an Ivar versus Obafemi match. You could see some more of Ivar in NXT. We hadn't seen him there since they were. I heard this the other day. Shit, what was it? War Machine. When Ivar and the other guy were War Machine before they rebranded as Viking Jobbers.
Mm.
And then the Final Testament showed up on NXT yesterday after the Wolf Dogs got beaten by Frazier and Axiom. The entire Final Testament, Scarlett was looking mighty good, by the way.
Okay. Day ending in Y, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But so they showed up, and Akam and Rezar did the double power bomb thingy to the new tag team champions and laid them out. And Karrion Kross did Karrion Kross things. They love him in NXT. He's like their guy.
Really?
Yeah, I think he carried the belt, I want to say, in NXT for a pretty long time.
That actually kind of tracks now. I think about it.
And AOP was big in NXT.
Yeah, I
So
actually
think
kind of
maybe
remember that.
maybe
Yeah,
they're sending them down there to find themselves a little bit.
I hope so because they kind of suck.
Yeah, they're fucking dookie on the main roster. Like nobody cares about anybody except Scarlett and maybe Paul Ellering.
Yeah,
And he's just there like he's 80 years old, wandering around like, why am I here? Why am
big
I
Paul Ellering guy, to be quite
big
honest.
Paul Ellering guy. But yeah, I think this what they're doing with Trick Williams in NXT is interesting. I could definitely see them giving him the belt and seeing what he can do with it with a title run.
Right.
I feel like it's a little unusual for them to call somebody up from NXT who has not been a champion of some kind, and Trick has not been a champion yet.
Yeah, so I think it's Ilya drops the belt, goes up to the main roster. So,
But it would be Swervelicious if Ilya beat him, and then he just like shows up in SmackDown, and then Mello shows up behind him and clubs him in the back of the head or whatever.
Hazed.
Yeah,
Because that feud would work on the main roster.
Oh yeah, easily. That's almost like a Sammy Kevin thing where it's like, a constant like going back and forth,
This was a good commentary. I thought you had Booker T and Wade Barrett doing the comms for Stand and Deliver. I thought they made a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was our consolation for not getting bad news during any WrestleMania.
Yeah, but like I said, the only thing I didn't like about the commentary was I thought they buried Trick a little bit by saying like, oh no, he can't out wrestle Carmelo. He's a fighter. He's not a wrestler.
Mm.
I didn't like that, but everything else about it, I liked the show. What I saw of it. The only thing I missed was the girls 3 or 6 girl tag match, and who cares?
Well, quick buffer here. How did we feel about Hall of Fame?
I mean, Paul Heyman's the GOAT, so.
Yeah, Paul Heyman had an all-time speech, and then everyone else was just kind of there.
Apparently, the Paul Heyman speech is the most watched WWE clip or video or whatever of all time.
Yeah, I could believe that. Is it censored on online?
The most watched clip or the most watched Hall of Fame speech of all time?
I thought it said most watched clip. Let me verify this. I could be making stuff up. I don't want to spread fake news.
Okay, well,
Yes, I do.
I'm shocked if it was the most watched clip of all time, but I definitely believe most watched speech of all time.
Okay, it's the most viewed speech ever. Okay.
okay, yeah,
You're right.
which is kind of funny because there's been some big ones. So, but yeah, no, I mean it completely tracks. It was an all-time speech. It was exactly what you thought you'd get from Paul Heyman. Loved his constant making fun of, or not even really making fun of, but ribbing RVD for smoking hella weed. That was funny. Which I thought RVD was with AEW.
He is or was.
Yeah, but he's there though. Bully Ray was there. A lot of the ECW guys were there.
I remember seeing in one of the camera views. I was like, "Is that Keith Lee?" And that got confirmed.
Yeah. So, very good. His son looked extremely uncomfortable, like he wanted to be literally anywhere else.
Smoking weed.
Preferably smoking weed, probably. Yeah. His daughter was there as well. I'm not going to make any comments about her because I don't know how old she is. So, kind of.
Never stopped you before.
Playing safe on that. Yeah, I know it hasn't, and it's gotten me in trouble. So I'm just gonna tap out on this one. Yeah, then everyone else was there. I think the only other really notable one was Bull Nakano. And I think the only thing notable about that was she's like 60 something and she still looked great. In fact, I think she maybe looked better. If that makes any sense. But then again, her gimmick was kind of looking terrible. So maybe that's...
She had real wacky hair.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that might just be what's going on there.
She looked normal, but with the face paint.
Right.
It was kind of cool, though. It spoke to the old schoolness of her character that she showed up, in some version of her character.
Right.
The rest of the Hall of Fame class I thought kind of sucked, not going to lie.
Yeah, the rock bits were interesting. I thought how they played that into later on in the weekend was good. But yeah, I didn't really care about his grandmother, his mother, whatever. The Muhammad Ali thing was... whatever. It is what it was. That's so far disconnected from like modern day WWE.
The thing about The Rock's grandmother, because remember they were making this big deal about how she was the first female wrestling promoter and all that.
Yeah.
You're not completely accurate. In fact, not even remotely accurate.
Okay, well, it's the WWE.
She was the first female wrestling promoter in the state of Hawaii.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
And also the last.
Yeah,
Christine Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's mama, had her beat by a few years, to say the very least.
Well, where are we at on Jarrett's right now in the WWE? Can we acknowledge them or?
Well, I think he's active as at least a part-time wrestler and executive with AEW.
Okay, so person non grata. Okay, got it.
I don't think he's persona non grata. I think he's He's a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but I think that was before he went to work for AEW. So.
Well, he got inducted in 2018, but he's not like persona non grata. I mean, he's a legit Hall of Famer.
Okay, all right. Well, whatever. Yeah, I didn't really care about that. That black guy, I didn't even know who he was.
Thunderbolt Patterson.
And I thought what you said about him was funny. So
this is secondhand knowledge, but we'll share with the class. I learned this from one James E. Cornett, that apparently had intimate knowledge of Thunderbolt Patterson, that his whole thing, contrary to what the New Day said about him, how he was this great, advancing of, race relations in wrestling and, a pioneer for black wrestlers everywhere. And Cornette was like, yeah, no, he wasn't. He just, anytime that a wrestling promoter ever stopped booking him, he just sued them.
Yeah. I mean, it works. It works.
So places would book him just because they didn't want to deal with him suing them.
Understand?
I think it really says a lot about our society today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but I don't think it should, and we should probably actually move on.
It shouldn't, but it does.
We should actually probably move on for because of the implications.
But yeah, so Thunderbolt Patterson, yeah.
Are we missing?
Rock's grandma,
yeah, Rock's grand. Bull Nakano, not bad.
Muhammad Ali's widow gave a good speech.
Yeah, that's true.
It was okay, but that wasn't the whole purpose. The whole purpose of that was for The Rock to get his fake belt.
Right. Yeah. Which I said I like that because it was like the Hall of Fame was part of the weekend's story. And I like that. Like, the Hall of Fame is supposed to be like a separate entity, right? But at the same time, like, you know, you never stop working, right?
It's not Cooperstown either.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's real, but it's not. It's real fake.
Well, yeah, it's like until the recent happenings, who chose who went to the Hall of Fame? It was Vince McMahon,
Right.
and now that he's gone, it's Paul Levesque.
Mm-hmm.
And I would argue that The Rock probably / definitely had some input as to who got selected this go around.
Mm-hmm.
Or Trips just said, "Yeah, we'll put The Rock's grandma in to make him happy and be part of the story or whatever."
Well, yeah, like I said, you know, the fact that you worked it into the weekend story, it's like, okay, sure, even if it was some sort of nepotism thing, you know, all right, it still makes sense though, and that's fine. That's cool and good. Let's see what else. I feel like there was someone else there, but I'm completely blanking on it.
And you know, since you're blanking on it, who the hell cares? They didn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, just for laughs, let me see who it was. One the kind of thing. Oh, the U.S. Express. That's what it was. Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda. Yeah, who looks like he just absolutely does not want to exist anymore.
Erwin R. Scheisler has had a long few years.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the light was just completely gone from his eyes, and that was.
I think I told y'all though. I watched the Bray Wyatt WWE documentary.
Yeah,
and it is good. I would definitely would recommend. It'll make you a big Bo Dallas guy.
I already was. I liked Bo back when he was in NXT doing his little shtick. I thought it was funny.
It was. I think it was the first time he's ever really talked about the run as Uncle Howdy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the emotion, whatever emotion that Mike Rotunda had lost, Bo Dallas had gained. He just he comes across as just incredibly sympathetic.
Would it be sacrilegious for Bo to come back and do some variation of that as a gimmick to continue the legacy and the memory?
I don't think you can do that. I think if because you've got the other piece of that, which is Luke Harper, aka John Huber, passing away.
Oh God, yeah. The Wyatt family is currently 2 and 3 on this, huh?
I think the only ones left are the only one left is Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman.
Of the original. Yeah, it's only what the ginger redhead stepchild.
Well,
Yeah.
and Daniel Bryan.
Well, he was later on as well. I'm talking about the OG trio. Yeah. Daniel Bryan, Braun
Strowman,
Bo unofficially, and then
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss, yeah, who is alive-ish.
Not only that, but giving life. Had a kid.
Yeah, so she's actually in the red or in the black on that one. So
yeah. She's adding credit.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, pretty good Hall of Fame.
I like the black mark alone.
I didn't mean anything by that, so no one read anything into that.
Well, didn't she give her kid like the worst white girl name ever for a boy?
I want to say yes. Alexa Bliss, not Alexis Bliss, you dumbass.
Bullshit.
Stupid retard. Let's see. Hendrix Rouge Cabrera. So
Hendrix, yeah, that's.
Yeah, and her husband could not be whiter, so.
I guess his last name's Cabrera, so there you go.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. Hey, WrestleMania. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and say night 1 was okay.
Are we doing this? Are we doing beefy star ratings?
Yeah, we might actually. We might.
I think it's going to be better than anybody else's.
That's true.
It's one of those things that I know Tony can say. He's never been wrong about anything.
That's true.
Have you?
I will say, yeah, night 1, it was okay. It was good. It was okay. It was okay. It was a solid B+. Right?
It did a good job of setting up night two.
It did a good setting up. I will say, came out of the gate real strong with Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Championship. Becky's intro was very lame. I don't even want to discuss it. It was so lame. But Rhea's entrance with Motionless in White, was that the name of it?
Yes, Motionless in White.
Motionless in White was all time. Like, not as far as like grander, but just like, I am so pumped for this right now, right? Because that dude was screaming, right? I love her music to begin with. She was into it. He was into it. They had a whole thing. Oh, it was so great. The match, it
was a Becky Lynch match.
I've seen worse.
It was a Becky Lynch match, and she did was not 100%. Apparently, she had strep throat all week.
Yeah, it was a flu game. They had to keep reminding us every like 5 seconds. It's like, oh, she has 105-degree fever. It's like, okay, it's like, yeah. Okay, is that why this match kind of sucks?
They're putting over how tough she is. I get it.
Yeah, that's fine. Is what it is.
Well, see,
listen, by the way, that I learned was that
the
lead performer of Motionless in White, his name is Chris Motionless. He actually changed his last name to Motionless.
Well, many such cases for Chris's.
So that's a thing you know now.
Chris Motionless, 37, from Scranton, Pennsylvania, born.
Not a great town.
Never been to a Scranton that was worth going back to again.
Cerulli? I don't know. Anyway, he looks like a giant dweeb. He kind of looks like Rhea Ripley a little bit, actually, which is weird.
Well, they are notably her favorite band, so she was pretty hyped about it.
Yeah, she was stoked. Like, she was singing her own song going down the ramp. I was marking out.
Yeah, me too. Me as well.
I wasn't a big fan of the performance itself. I thought they were having audio issues. There was some struggling going on there, but Rhea was pumped. And so she brought me back in. I was hooked. I was like, okay, she's out there having a fucking great time. Good for her.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she literally just completely ripped him off. Like, that's where her style came from. Was this guy? All right, okay, that's fair.
This match was a big woman moment, because Rhea said after the fact that she was having a panic attack backstage before it started.
Base.
And then Becky's all sick and whatnot. So, big woman moment all around, but decent match.
In many of those cases.
5-star intro, 2.7-star match. That's right. We're going decimals here.
For the match.
You're going 4 stars for this match?
I thought it was a good.
Out of 10?
It was a good, if not great, match to me. So that's a 4-star match.
Okay. All right. Hey, fine.
I'm not rating it on an arbitrary scale of 8 stars if Kenny Omega's in it. Kind of bullshit.
Okay, no, fine. Yeah. Hey,
pretty damn good.
Hey, that's you are a man who is entitled.
Average, right? 2.5 is an average match. I thought it was a good match, so I'm giving it 4.
Okay, hey, you are a man entitled to his opinions, and that hey, God bless.
The spot where Becky had her in the armbar, and they tumbled outside, and Rhea kept her on her shoulders, and the electric chair dropped her on the floor. That was pretty fucking cool. That sold me.
Okay, all right, that's all right. Well.
The riptide into the turnbuckle was nuts too.
What am I doing?
We saw a lot of new turnbuckle moves. Which we'll get to later. We call that foreshadowing in the biz.
Do we?
We do now.
Okay. 6-pack tag. Oh God, I love it. Now this one was a 4-star for me. 6-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed tag team championships. A-Town Down Under, Awesome Truth, Judgment Day, DIY, New Day, New Catch Republic. This probably shouldn't have been a great match, but it kind of was for one reason. And I want to give us a quick shout out. First of our predictions. The Beefy Boys, or the Beefy Ball crew, yeah, all 3 of us predicted that the tags would get split up.
Tony actually nailed it though. He 100% of this match.
Yeah, we all did really good on this. I like this match.
Let's pull up the VOD and see what Tay's prediction.
The thing is, we've lost most of that footage. Massive data corruption issues.
I think I went 1 for 2. I think I said Judgment Day would keep one of the belts, but not both.
Right, which they did not. We had a great A-Town Down Under take the SmackDowns right out the gate.
How do we feel about the comedy champion?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I think R-Truth deserves a moment. I feel like he deserves.
He deserves a moment. He's a good wrestler. He's a good entertainer. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate it at all. I think it's pretty damn good.
Who do you think is the more comedy champion? Are the Awesome Truth or Theory and Waller?
Awesome Truth, 100%.
Because I don't think you presented like total clowns for the last however long.
I don't think you get more clown comedy than R-Truth.
You don't.
He's so good though. Oh my gosh.
Some great ladder spots in this as well.
How about the way the one ladder was very clearly broken and we were all kind of clenching our buttholes, waiting for something really bad to happen?
Even the refs were like, don't, no, this isn't a joke. Do not climb the ladder. And Timmy was just like, fuck you. I'm not doing what you say. Based. Yeah, honestly, extremely based. Yeah, great match. Loved it. I love that the tag titles are split back up. Not a big title unifier guy. In fact, I've said this multiple times before, like, I'm all in favor of like having just as many titles as possible, right? Like, bring back a cruiserweight title, bring back the hardcore, bring back 24/7, where we got the speed championship title coming up soon. Great time to bring back a European title, right? And like,
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, but I think it should. And hear me out on this. I think there should be a couple of the titles that should be across all 3 brands, right? So that you have reasons for like NXT guys to maybe show up on the main roster once in a while, Like a European one could be all 3 brands. A 24/7 could be all 3 brands. It's just stuff like that. Now, okay, cruiserweight.
The thing about the unified tag titles was they could be defended anywhere, including NXT.
Right, I suppose so.
I guess.
Yeah,
they did occasionally get defended on NXT.
Yeah, but
more so with the Foids, I think.
I don't think it needs to, though. You know what I mean? I think it's fine if it doesn't do that, and that if you had other titles, like I said, like a 24/7 hardcore, European, whatever.
I don't know if I like this thing that they do where they just kind of arbitrarily some sort of champs will show up on NXT for a title shot match.
Yeah, we all know why it's a ratings gimmick, but
yeah, it's to pull ratings and it's to give some of the good young stars a rub, like what they did with this NXT yesterday.
Speaking of ratings, can we hurry up and get this show on Netflix? Because I'm tired of them having to censor shit all the time.
I hope that they don't. I hope that they lighten up on the censorship. But to the point, we talked about this as well. If everybody on the show starts cussing up a storm, then it loses its value. Hopefully
right? Don't.
Where it's very limited and impactful.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't let them just go apeshit.
Like Moxley and AEW just yelling "fuck" randomly.
God, I honestly can't stand Moxley. We'll talk about him in a little bit here, but we had the good Mexicans versus bad Mexicans match.
It happened.
It definitely happened.
Didn't like the ending.
Do we want to give this even 2 stars?
This was a 1-star match. I said it. I hated the ending.
I'm at a 2 here. I think
that's fair.
I was at like a 3.5 on the previous match. Like I liked it more than I thought I would, but it was still sloppy and kind of really really phony, which is kind of hard for me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just sit back and enjoy it for what it is, which is a spot fest with some cool shit, then it's fun. The good Latinos versus bad Latinos. I like Andrade.
Yeah, big Andrade guy.
I've always loved Ray.
The big Ray guy.
Dominic, the whole thing with him is fantastic.
Hey, his
Not a big fan, and I know why they do it. I'm not questioning it, but I didn't need the Philadelphia Eagles to show up. But I get why they do it.
I thought that was great. I loved it.
Nope. Fuck
Well,
those
you just
losers.
don't like the Eagles.
I don't like the Eagles either. I don't like anything about Philadelphia. I
Okay,
fucking hate
wait, see,
Philadelphia.
okay, well, there's the problem. There's the problem. You guys aren't being objective as journalists.
No, I'm being very objective. Fuck the
Or,
Eagles.
sorry, you guys aren't being subjective as journalists. Okay.
I'm being both. Fuck Philadelphia.
All right, whatever. All right, next match.
But I think it should be. We should note though that the weather was a factor with the crowd. The crowd was notably deader on day one than it was on day two because it was fucking cold up
It
there.
was freezing. But what was not freezing was actually hot. Was the rivalry between brothers, Jimmy versus Jay. Finally, right? Dream match for these two. What did we think?
So this match got dragged the most of all the matches. People were not a fan. I think it was a good story match.
Yes.
Like, clearly there was beef between the brothers. And it's not like this match dragged on super long. It was, 11 minutes long?
11 minutes and 5 seconds, the exact same as the previous match, which is kind of weird.
That is weird. I don't like that.
I'm going to call it a 1-star match, 3-star story.
Ooh,
I thought the match itself sucked. I mean, unless you like super kicks. If you like people super kicking all over the place, then you're going to like
I'm
it.
kind of a big super kick guy, if I'm being honest.
But, the Bucks kind of ruined that for me, but that's a story for another day.
Oh, God, here we go. Actually, I think that's a story for
Are you
tonight.
not a member of the super kick party?
What time are they doing that tonight? Right now?
Probably now. Doesn't it start at 8?
I don't know.
Oh, is tonight the night that they're going to play
Yep.
the CM Punk backstage? Oh,
Yep. Little sidebar there. AEW, who felt very slighted that they weren't in the news this weekend. Tony Khan, being the petulant child he is, of course, said that he's going to come out and he's going to show the backstage footage from All In, where Punk, raped him? What happened?
So
You
the
like put his hands on someone.
The story is that Jungle Boy Jack Perry was insisting on using. He wanted to smash some real glass in a match on CM Punk's show, which was Collision, and he was apparently cussing everybody out backstage, like including Tony Schiavone, including the doctors. Who said everybody was saying no, and they begged CM Punk to fix it. And he was like, "Are you sure? Because you're not going to like the way I handle it." This is those are his own words. Because if you haven't watched his interview, it's worth a watch. It's incredibly interesting the way that he sheds light on all this. So apparently at Wembley, at their big show or whatever, Jack Perry goes into business for himself and smashes the real glass, and he looks into the camera and goes, "Real glass, cry me a river." So they come out after their match, and Punk is in Gorilla, and he's like, "What the fuck, man?" And Jack Perry gets in his face, so CM Punk choked him. Put him in a front face lock.
Based.
Is Phil Brooks going to have to choke a bitch? Hell
Will
yeah.
Brooks. And he quoted one Chael Sonnen who said this, sometimes I just can't let you get too close.
Sure.
And he locked him up. And
Sure.
Tony Khan, said that he was in fear for his life and blah, blah, blah.
Which is funny because the rumors that I heard were actually Tony Khan was kind of cheering it on.
Yeah, many such cases because he's kind of he's a super nice guy.
He's a trust fund kid.
Yeah, it's just he's not a. But that's
With
what
everything that comes with being a
boss.
trust fund kid.
So long story short, that was what led to eventually Punk basically blew out, and in his words, he said that he quit, but AEW said that he was fired for cause and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, that's probably here in a little bit. Won't be on this show. Well, maybe. I don't know if they lead with it. I really don't know. Anyway, back to interesting wrestling. WrestleMania. Next up, we had the Jade Cargill Bianca EST story with the Black Queens versus the Japanese Queens, and I think we
No
should
shocker what happened.
I think we should just start off by acknowledging how good Jade Cargill looked.
Oh, she's
Do we
like a shit brick house.
do we want to discuss how good she looked?
Nah.
Oh, okay, you're just being racist.
More of a Kairi Sane guy myself.
Yeah, God, she's not even the. All right, whatever. Anyways, yeah, great. Actually, a pretty decent match, I thought. Like it was better than the Rhea Becky one, certainly, and probably the best women's. I don't know. The Bailey match was pretty good. It was good though. It was really good. What were y'all's thoughts?
It was all right. I mean, it was a match that happened just to push Jade, basically, and Naomi. You know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I cannot see a pirate.
I cannot.
The same thing.
I literally cannot even find one. This is great. There's one. Well, hold on. Oh, there's one. Yeah. Good match. That's all I really have to say about it, I think.
Yep.
Unless we have some really deep, hard-hitting commentary.
Yeah, this was a match that happened to me. It was, it was to showcase Jade. That much was obvious. I told y'all Naomi would do a bunch of the work, and she did. Bianca did her 5 moves of doom. Jade came in and kicked the shit out of everybody and won the match like we expected. Dakota Kai took the pin like we expected.
Mm-hmm.
All was right with the world. Jade looked great.
In more ways than one, yes.
I had no problems with this match whatsoever.
Fair enough.
All right, what else?
I went into the main event, right?
No.
I have a problem with this Wilderness event.
Then we had Sami Zayn and Gunther.
Oh, that's right. That tragedy happened night 1.
Oh, here we go. You're such a mark.
Listen, it was the wrong result. It was bullshit.
Okay.
I think this result swerved a lot of people.
Swerved me a little.
Yeah, because it was the wrong result. That's why people got swerved.
I mean, I kind of get it in a certain way because, like, if not Sami who? If not Sami who?
Listen, Sami Zayn had won the belt multiple times. He was in the world heavyweight champion scene literally before this feud. There was no reason to put the belt on him. You could have put the belt on any other of the mid-card guys that actually needed the push. Now Sami Zayn is stuck defending a mid-card for who knows how many months just to get the belt off Gunther. That's a terrible decision. Put it on Gable, who needs a push. Put it on literally anyone else that, hasn't had a title reign recently. Hasn't, had a big Mania match, needs a push.
Okay.
How long are they going to keep the belt on Sammy is the question.
Not long.
He's literally the first person he's going to defend it against is Chad Gable.
And I think he dropped it.
It's in Sammy's hometown. I don't know if they drop it there, but
hometown could be a blessing or a curse, though. It's
could be. Oh, obliteration. Nice. Yeah, I think that's actually a good point because they had him lose in his hometown last year. Maybe you're onto something actually here.
Do you think that they're not going to turn Gable heel for this, are they? They're going to just make this a supreme babyface rivalry?
I don't know. I could see. I said it last week, and y'all were like, "Oh, no way!" But I could see it. Well, we'll see. But yeah, that went into the main event and probably the best match of the night. The final boss.
Before we go main event for this night, has Devin seen Jade Cargill yet?
Who?
This would be a good project for the side chat. Carry on. I got this.
Okay. The final boss and your tribal chief, One's Up Boys, versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins in the defining match of the weekend. on whether or not this would set up bloodline rules for the next night. Spoiler alert, it did, just as we predicted, more or less. Again, I'm gonna say this is one of those matches that maybe we chalk up to like, it's cold, the crowd's kind of dead, like, you know, whatever. It wasn't a bad match.
Philly sucks.
Philly sucks, yes. Seth was playing hurt all weekend. We all agree on that, right? Like he's hurt.
He's been hurt for a hot minute.
He's been hurting for a hot minute, yeah. And you know, it was probably good the way everything kind of worked out this weekend. To, you know, probably he's definitely going to take some time off. But otherwise, this match was pretty decent. They did a good job of not making Cody and Seth look too weak, right? Like they still look strong, but not strong enough that you would kind of go like, oh, okay, well, I'm actually kind of now worried for tomorrow night. Like if they can't get it done as a tag team, how's Cody going to get it done on his own versus the entire bloodline? We had some good out in the crowd segments. The best character work was The Rock. Like at the very beginning is, you know, going like, if you call to the ref, like if you call, don't you fucking count this or you're fired, which I thought was hilarious.
That was great.
That was when he started doing that. I popped real hard. I was like, oh hell yeah, because like, oh we're just doing like bloodline rules like right now. Okay, hell yeah, brother. Decent ending is what we all thought. Rock pinned Cody. Big shocker there. Setting up for the next night. I did when they lost, I was like, okay, we all know what's happening next. Like we all know. There is no doubt now that Cody's going over on night 10.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
A big shout out to The Rock though,
because
he did take quite a few bumps and wrestled quite a bit in that match. When I think a lot of people are clowning on him, saying he was old and was just gonna like sit on the side while Roman did all the work.
Michael Cole for the call, by the way, at the end of the match, where he said Cody is screwed.
Michael Cole, I said this. Michael Cole has been firing on all cylinders for like the past year or so, right? Like I don't think he's enjoyed working for the WWE more than he has in the past couple of years. I attribute a little bit of that to not having fucking Vince McMahon in your ear all the time, probably 90%. But then the other 10%, I think, might be Michael Cole.
Talk about a giant fucking kiss.
Wow, it's like he's here in the room with us. Crazy. Anyway, that was night 1. Loved it. Let's double time this a little. Get through some of these. Oh, fucking hell. Drew and Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew, first off, a little sad he didn't do Broken Dreams, but I get it. Good intro though, with all the little, you know, Scottish dudes with their swords and shit. Seth came out with a full mummers troupe, which was, and this is a really high bar, but I think I'm safe in saying it, the gayest thing I have ever seen in the WWE. Again, high bar, but feel safe in saying that.
Yep.
Match was pretty good.
And that's with Pretty Deadly existing.
Yes.
The bar for me was Adam Rose. Remember him with the rosebuds?
Oh God, the rosebuds. Yeah, this is the same company that most notably had the quote saying, "I'm by a lot of things, but lingual is not one of them." Still not this gay compared to this.
Yeah, this was awkward.
Good match though. I'd put this at a 3.8. Even with Seth hurt.
This was a good match.
Drew cared.
Didn't like that. Didn't like the final result after the match, but
well, okay, we'll talk about that. Drew coming out like right out of the gate with a Claymore, I thought was really funny, and I was like, oh shit, are they really about to do like the 5-second match, which would have been funny, and Vince would have 100% done it, but they didn't. Decent little match. Of course, Seth drops. We all knew it was gonna happen. He's been hurt for literally like 6 months. Of course, he's gonna take some time off. Drew goes and celebrates with his wife. Oh, hot, yeah. Then he gets involved with CM Punk, and CM Punk revealing that maybe he's not as hurt as we thought he was, right? Hits him with the brace, out cold. Whose music hits? Bisexual Undertaker. Runs down, case to the face, throws him into the ring. 1, 2, 3, and new World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest. Hell yeah, Judgment Day on top, baby. Why did you not like it? Do you know you're not a Judgment Day guy?
I just really like the work Drew's been doing. So I wanted homie to have the belt.
Right, but it's even funnier now because as we saw Monday night, he comes out and he's like absolutely fuming, right? I want to see because he had this whole he trolled CM Punk from Raw, not Raw, Rumble to WrestleMania. Now I want Punk's comeuppance, right? I want him to be the one trolling him, fucking with him, and then
this is because you're a CM Punk mark. I see.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I just think this is a really good angle of them both like just legitimately hating each other, but just being really snarky assholes about it, right? And then until finally they just beat the shit out of each other.
Mr. Levesque made allusion to this, that he talked about Drew's obsession with winning the title combined with Drew's obsession with CM Punk.
Which in the industry,
he said that, the Drew was saying that Seth taking his eye off the ball and focusing on the bloodline would be his downfall.
right?
But that Drew's obsession with CM Punk and making him winning the title all about rubbing it in CM Punk's face was his downfall.
Which, by the way, in the industry, that's called foreshadowing. Huh?
Damn right.
We'll get there in a second.
This was more of a summary after it had already all happened. This was in the press conference, but yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh yeah.
It was post-shadowing.
Well, okay, yes, but if you understood that before the match or while the match was going, it was also for shit. Look, don't get caught up in the weeds on this. Anyways,
it was kind of an underlying tone for the whole entire feud.
It was kind of underlying, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Now, before we go to the next match, I do want to go back to the Gunther Sami Zayn match. Even though I didn't like the result, them letting Sami's pull out the brain buster was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like that a lot. A little vintage work there.
Yeah, the turnbuckle brain buster.
All right, then we had a Philadelphia street fight featuring special guest referee Bubba Ray Dudley. This was just a house show. Like this was for the crowd
with Snoop Dogg on the mic.
With Snoop Dogg on the call. Yeah, this was absolutely a house. One for the crowd. One for Philadelphia.
This was fan service for ECW for Philadelphia.
100%, and I liked it. Like they
did everything in their power to make people care about this match, and it worked.
Did a pretty good job.
It was not bad. Yeah, like I don't care about anyone involved in this except kind of Montez Ford and Angela Dawkins, but I mean, it was pretty fun. A lot of get the tables. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Pretty good. I'm going to move on, though, because who cares? LA Knight defeated AJ Styles by pinfall. And I'm not going to say a forgettable match, but like it was still good. Like every match on night 2 was good, right? Like night 2 was a marked improvement over night 1. I think every single match was at least a 3 to me. But this one was kind of forgettable because the next 3 were kind of way more impactful. So
this match was all about LA Knight having something to do at Mania because
yes.
The Rock, I said this before, The Rock pushed him out.
Right.
So I think we're in the middle of AJ's final run. I really do think
too.
that
Yeah.
He's 46 years old.
Yeah.
The sumbitch is jacked as hell. He looks great.
He could probably go for another 2-3 years.
But he is talking about hanging it up soon.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking at. He's putting LA Knight over. He's going to put some other people over, but on his way out, like you're supposed to.
I could see him retiring maybe after next WrestleMania, maybe the next for 1 or 2.
He's going to be one of those ones that goes out the right way, putting people over and making them look like $1 million, and that's what he did here.
Right. Yeah. Decent enough little match. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. Okay, this one I thought was really, really, really good for a lot of different reasons. So first off, the chemistry between Kevin and Randy was great as always because they're kind of like similar mindset kind of guys, but in different ways. So watching them it's like, all right, look, we're we're gonna do our thing, but first let's just beat the shit out of this loser, which they did and was hilarious.
I like when Randy was teaching him how to do the spot where he picks him up and drops him on the table.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you gotta get him higher. You gotta pick him up. And Kevin's like, oh, yeah, I see that. I see what you're doing.
Then when they inevitably turned on each other, that was hilarious. And with the RKO, and he turned around and was like, well, hey, what do you expect? What do you expect?
So, well, for those of us who watched back in the day when Randy Orton was champion as a babyface and everybody hated it.
Yeah.
He was the serious babyface. I love Randy Orton as a goofy, crazy babyface.
Yes, me too. Yeah, serious Randy babyface was terrible. I absolutely despised him. Logan Paul, of course, whipped out the brass knucks. It didn't work though. Then the Prime mascot, right? Which last year was KSI, and we were like, no way they're gonna repeat that, right? And they didn't. It was a guy. I Show Speed, who I have no clue who that is, but I know the Zoomers were losing their shit over it.
Oh yeah.
So if our Zoomer correspondent could chime in and explain who the hell I Show Speed is.
So I Show Speed is some like 19-year-old black streamer. I think he's like big into soccer or whatever. And he's got like a gorillion followers on like Twitch and TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. And I think he's a bit, younger than my age. Like, I think he's for the age group younger than me, but I think if you can think of an autistic thing, he's probably done it.
Is this the guy that caused like a riot in New York?
I don't know. He did set off fireworks in his room as a stream bit.
All I know is this motherfucker doesn't post a tweet that gets fewer than like 400,000 likes. Like this, he's legitimately popular.
Yeah, I think
this was the guy that showed his cock on stream.
Yeah,
That's why that name sounds familiar. Okay.
I think his the clips of him getting RKO'd are already over like 300 million views and whatnot across social media.
Which, as we've said before,
it's very much a let's get younger people interested in wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like these guys are not. They're getting younger eyes on the product. And like if we were to go out there and it's like, oh, that's stupid. WWE would never do this. We would be like the same people who were like 50, 60 years old watching WrestleMania 1 going, it's like, why the hell they got these youngins on this show? Who the hell's who was that woman on WrestleMania 1?
Mr. T?
Cyndi Lauper.
Sure. Cyndi Lauper. Okay.
Yeah. Why the hell they got this Cyndi Lauper on here? Back in my day, men were just barrel-chested in underwear wrestling. It's like, okay, wrestling has always been trying to be cool and hip in the mainstream. Like that is literally what WrestleMania is. It's a crossover event. It's not just a wrestling event. If you want to watch a wrestling event, there's 11 other ones in the year. PLEs that are just wrestling, right? But WrestleMania is, like they said, it's the WWE Super Bowl, right? It's the event, and anything can happen there. Anyone can show up. So I don't really I don't like Zoomer streamers. I hate them. I think they're retarded. But
we understand why they're there.
Exactly.
It's 110% to get young eyes on the product, and it worked.
Good match otherwise, though. Of course, Logan Paul retained. Don't mind that. Keeping a championship on someone as high profile and notable as that, I think, is good for the product. I don't think there's really any good stories that Randy could have as U.S. champion. Kevin's had it like 100 times already anyway, as well. So, predictable outcome. Bailey and Io Sky. Bailey, who came out for some reason in an Egyptian gimmick, which we're still trying to figure out.
Well, according to Michael Cole or whatever, there's like an
Grace.
Egyptian-themed park in San Jose where she grew up and she liked to play there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. Whatever.
Rocked the wings pretty decently.
Whatever. That
I didn't get it, but it looked good.
Yeah. No, it looked great. It was a little weird, those guys holding her up, because they were struggling a little bit, because Bailey is she's grown a little in the past few years. I'm not saying she's fat, but
she's definitely gotten bigger, like stronger.
She got she had a kid or two, right?
Did she? I don't think so.
Oh, she just got fat? Okay. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here.
He does not have any children.
Oh. Oh, okay. So she just got fat. Okay, that's fine. Hey, happens to the best of us. Good match. Io Sky. That's my girl.
Lost.
She did lose though. Yes, that is true and real. But it was a good match. Probably give it about 3 stars. I think that seems fair. But anyway, all pales in comparison to the main event. Bloodline rules for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Cody's intro. Oh my God. Echoing, of course, Triple H at WrestleMania 30, I think, right?
I think it was 30.
Yeah.
And as you no doubt recall, there was a certain pay-per-view entrance one of these years where Cody's intro was smashing the throne.
Yep.
Which was a direct shot at Triple H. This was when Cody was in AEW, I believe.
It was, yeah. Well, what's interesting about this parallel, right, is WrestleMania 30, of course, in its time, was seen as somewhat of a new era, right? Because it was putting over Daniel Bryan, and that was kind of, that transitioned WWE into like the newer era that it's been in for the past decade or so, where we got a bunch of like these indie darling stars and IWC guys versus like, instead of just giving it to CM Punk every WrestleMania, right?
It was the PG era, right?
It was the end of the PG era and the intro. I don't know what they called this last era, but whatever. The pseudo.
I think we've been in the PG era this whole time.
No, PG era was like 07 to 13 or something. Let's look that up, actually. It says new generation and ruthless aggression. Let's see. PG, yeah, PG era was 2008 to 2010. Okay, I was off by like a year. The reality era, that's what it was 14 to 16. I don't know what the hell a reality means or why they called it that, but that was when you got Daniel Bryan in, like when Sami Zayn started kind of getting, big. That's when you got a bunch of these guys in like NXT coming up, right? And developing new talents. Then apparently 2016 to 2021 was just quote unquote the new era. Then the post-COVID period, they're not even calling that an era. And then I guess now we're calling it the Paul Levesque era.
The H era.
The H era, yeah. So yeah, having that intro kind of like, it is funny because a lot of people for a long time thought that Triple H and Cody had like some serious heat or something. But I'm gonna tell everyone a little secret here. Okay? And I'm gonna tell like everyone. There is no greater worker outside of the ring today than Cody Rhodes, because that dude is never not working, right? We were talking about this the other day with his because he's gotten into some trouble and controversy with his political beliefs or alleged political beliefs, right? And people work themselves into a shoot over it, not knowing that what are his actual beliefs? Who knows? He'll just say what's gonna move tickets, right? Like when he was in the WWE, he leaned a little more, chuddy. AEW, he's all about, BLM, equality, posing with, pastel colored flags.
We're talking about CM Punk or Cody? I'm confused.
Cody. Punk's just a retard. Just a libtard. That's his thing. Talking about Cody.
Yeah, I just wanted to slam the guy. Carry on.
But I saw a Medium article from some absolute fucking loser who was talking about how AEW needs to be a safe space for all people. Some bunch of dumb shit. So it seriously made me laugh thinking about it. And he was talking about how this guy had approached Cody, and as he started talking, he literally described it. I could see it in my head, Cody doing being Cody. I said he took off his sunglasses, and that's how I knew he was serious. It's no, that's how I know he's doing a work. That's how I know he's working you, right? So I don't think Triple H and him ever had heat ever. And in fact, I think Triple H kind of sees Cody as a younger him, although not a lot younger. Because Triple H is not that old, is he?
He's pretty old.
54. Well, Cody's like, he's pushing 40, right?
Oh, The Rock is 52.
38. Oh, okay.
Cody,
All
I think, is-
right. They're
Cody,
okay.
I think, is 37 or 36
He's 38.
or 38. Okay.
Yeah. So he's still relatively young.
I was way off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's still relatively young. So yeah, Trips definitely sees him as like a younger him, and I don't think he ever took any like offense to that. I think Trips would have done the same thing, right, back in the day, had he, you know, not been fucking the boss's daughter.
Right.
Like that was his ticket to the top. Cody had to go through this long, drawn out process of like leaving, starting a new company, proving himself. Triple H just had sex with Stephanie McMahon. Now, of course, in the end, it worked out fine, right? But just thank God, I guess she has good taste in men, because, God, what if she'd married like Test or something? You know what I'm saying? Not that there's anything wrong with Test, I think. Is he still alive? No. Okay. He died in 2009. All right. Moving on. Moving on.
Were you talking about Test? Yeah, that big a dead.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess Test and Triple H looked a lot alike, and they were in kind of the similar era. So I think my mind naturally gravitated to him. Anyway, great intro. Our tribal chief, One's Up, comes out to full orchestra, chilling. Match starts, pretty decent match. Notably, they started the match and did about half of it with, I think even over half of it, with no interference. It was just Cody and it was just Roman. And it was pretty good, right?
Very good. It was Roman's best match in a long time, which is kind of depressing.
Yeah. It is. I'm hoping Roman takes like several months off and then comes back and is not champion, starts working a more consistent schedule, because I mean he's a decent wrestler. Now I don't think he used to be, but he's gotten way better. And I guess we could maybe chalk that up to Paul Heyman. But like in that weird, like, because in the Shield he was just the heavy, right? That's essentially was his job, and that was fine. But there was that weird period when they were trying to push him as a baby face, and before he had to leave because of his leukemia, where he just sucked, right? He was just awful.
Supper and succotash.
For him to be back after the leukemia and then, get in with Paul Heyman eventually and then the bloodline, and now is actually, a good the fact, I said this before when I started watching, last year, I said, if you'd told me 5, 6, 7 years ago that, one of my favorite storylines would be involving Roman Reigns, and it's not because I hate Roman Reigns. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So
I think we got to call it what it is. I think the diminishing influence of Vince McMahon led to the rise of Roman Reigns.
It really sucks, and I hate it, because I love Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is one of my favorite people as a personality, not as a person, obviously.
But he had it mandatory that, by God, Roman Reigns was going to be a white meat babyface.
Right.
Like the whitest of white meat babyfaces.
But, yeah. I mean, it
just wasn't having it.
It got it had been clear, starting in, like, the PG era, that Vince didn't have it anymore. And really just thankfully due to outside forces, again, Triple H probably, we did get flashes of brilliance. But yeah, I mean, that's why I came back, right? That's what I came back, and I watched Royal Rumble last year, and I went, well, this is a different product. Like this is a completely different show. And then I find out it's like, oh, it's because Vince isn't involved anymore. Okay. That's very depressing. I think that's a cautionary advice to all men, right? Is to have the humility and the introspective ability to know when you don't have it anymore. And now I think some people could say that about me, but that I went a little too far with it, right? And that in some cases I saw myself like decline slightly and then just went, oh fuck, I'm done. I'm over, right? Like I think that's too far on the other end, but Vince was too much of like, he thought he had it to the day they literally would not let him back in the building. And that is depressing. So yeah, so we get who came out first? Solo came out first. No, Jimmy came out first.
Jimmy came out.
Jimmy came out first, and of course, Jay comes out. That rivalry's not over. We knew that. Solo then comes out with a spike, a la echoing what happened last WrestleMania to cost him. Did not work. I love when because the Samoan spike rarely doesn't work. But when it does, just look on his face. It's equal parts confused and furious. And I just love it. I like Solo. Was great. Of course, we called it. John Cena comes out, beats the shit out of him. Shout out to John Cena's disgusting hair situation. We won't get too deep into that, but Google it. It is rough.
Do you want him to bick it?
I kind of need him to bick it. Like, because there's one thing like, like Devin, right? Kind of, okay, fine. I think receding isn't that bad, right? You can work with receding. But bald spot? Ooh, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm afraid of. I'm not really afraid of receding, right? Because everyone's hair eventually recedes somewhat, right? I'm not afraid of it. I'm afraid of a bald spot. I'm terrified of a bald spot because you can't work with it. And if you try, it looks, well, John Cena.
Balding is a reality.
Damn, that is rough. I just looked it up.
Right?
Balding is a reality.
It's
Balding is a choice.
terrible. Oh my God, it's awful. Anyway, look here, neither here nor there, whatever. We called that though. And then the final boss comes out. The Rock gets involved. And now from here, we're just ready for the glass to shatter, right? I'm convinced, you're convinced, we're all convinced. This is happening. And then the lights go out. And I go, oh, shit, okay. And then the gong hits and I go, oh, shit, okay, sure. I think I audibly said, what the fuck? Because that wasn't even on my radar, right? At all. Because I'd worked myself so much into thinking Stone Cold was going to be the one. Which, I think that would have been better. But Undertaker, I mean, he is kind of Mr. WrestleMania. So, okay, fine, whatever. Comes out, literally chokeslams The Rock into the Shadow Realm. Like, literally. Lights go back out and they're both gone. Which I loved, by the way. I love when they used to do that, right? Like I love when they did like the Undertaker and it was like whenever he would get someone, they'd just be gone.
He'd teleport.
Or Kane, when he'd literally drag him under the ring. I loved it. Oh my God, that was hilarious. I love that. Three crossroads. 1, 2, 3. New era. And man, so I will say, because
you skipped the part. You skipped the part in all this.
Which one?
Before Undertaker, the Shield music hit.
Oh fuck! How could I forget?
Yeah.
No, that was the one I said what the fuck to. That's the one I said what the fuck to, because the Shield music hit and I went, no way, no way. Because for a second, we all thought it, right?
I never thought it.
I didn't think it either, but I never watched during the Shield era, so.
Okay. I was like, there's no way. And I was right. There was no way. It was just Seth Rollins that came out there. And going back to that foreshadowing I was talking about taking your eye off the ball to worry about some other obsession you have. Seth comes out with the chair. Doesn't work out. Roman picks up the chair and looks at Cody. He could finish it then and there. Just absolutely destroy him with that chair. Seth's already out, right? He's down for the count. But what does Roman do? He thinks back 10 years. He thinks back to how getting hit with that chair felt 10 years ago. And he hits Seth with it.
and it hits him the exact same way that Seth hit him 10 years ago.
Exact same way 10 years ago. Enough time to let Cody recover, get up, and stay in the match. I am chef kissing all over the place. Perfect storytelling. Oh my God, love it. Yeah, then Undertaker, blah, blah, 3. And I'm going to say it because we were all thinking it. When they kept doing like the speeches and everything and not going to black, I was like, oh God, don't just let Cody have this night. Just let this be happy. Let this be a happy moment. Don't have someone's music hit and come out there and do. I don't know who it even would have been.
I wanted Brandy to talk. Fuck that. It's open mic night, bitch.
That would have been good too. But I was just like, I'm such a wrestling guy, for so long that it's like, there are no long, there's happy moments, but they aren't long, right? And the longer a happy moment goes, exponentially the chance of something awful happening. But it didn't. It was a little surreal though, just to watch them out there for literally like 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Just like it was literally like a credit sequence. Right? Like all the cast came out and they're all hugging and talking. Triple H comes out from Gorilla. Bruce Pritchard came out from Gorilla as well. Hey, by the way, he's like 62 or something. Looking good, by the way. Not bad.
That was an interesting thing considering Ronda Rousey's comments about Bruce Pritchard.
No one believes any.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't really care what she has to say, but she referred to him specifically as Vince McMahon's avatar.
I think, no, what I get from Bruce Pritchard is he's just a yes man. And it's not Vince he was yesing, it was his boss he was yesing. And now he's probably Triple H's yes man. So he's just going to do, which is fine. Everybody needs a yes man. I wouldn't know. I'm sure it's nice. I wouldn't know, but yeah, also Ronda Rousey. So that's,
But you also saw, and we kind of glazed over this, but the person that opened up night 2 of WrestleMania on Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of wild. Because we said a week or two ago, it's like, I don't think we'll see a McMahon on TV for a long time. And then a week later, we see a McMahon on TV. So I think they're just literally just trying to go, Vince who? Who's that? No, McMahon, you mean Stephanie?
That, and they clearly feel that because the woman suing Vince and all that did name Stephanie in her suit, but I think they feel like Stephanie's clean enough and all this.
Well, I think that also signals that a lot of people know the whole suit's bullshit, but it's just one of those things where like they're trying to like cut the fat or the good meat, I should say, around the Vince McMahon shaped rot. Because like I'm sure Stephanie loves her father. I'm sure Triple H has a lot of respect for his father-in-law, but I don't think there's many people backstage, in production, in Stanford, who go, yeah, we were better with Vince. I'm sure everyone is just willing to kind of go, maybe he doesn't make it out of this. Maybe he comes out as innocent one day, but until then, is what it is. Because it's no secret that Vince sucked, right? Like, yeah, he kept it going for a long time, but a lot of it was in spite of him, not because of him. And being rid of Vince truly gives the WWE a new feeling. And it is kind of sad that we had to do this whole new era thing and just kind of like never use the V word, right? Like I wish he could have had that moment where he ceremoniously or even maybe literally passed the torch, Like I wish Vince could have had that moment. I wish he was that kind of man. But he's not, and it took a really fucked up way for it to happen, but everyone knows it, but they didn't say it. The Paul Levesque era begins because the Vince McMahon era ended.
Well, yeah, like you had signs a couple of years ago of Triple H's increasing influence, and then Vince, basically because he owned so much stock in the old WWE, he single-handedly voted himself in. There was nothing that could be done about it. Like Nick Khan voted, everybody who was on the board voted against him coming back, but his one vote was all that mattered.
And I'll even go as far, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on here for a second, and I'm even going to go as far as to say, I think that woman was pressured from within WWE to do that. And the reason that someone's name like Stephanie McMahon's is on it was a plausible deniability guy kind of thing, right? It's like, it couldn't have been, Stephanie couldn't have been involved in this. She's named. Paul couldn't have been involved in this. He's named, But I think that's what it was, because you're right. No, even people that loved him, right? Even people that cherished him and were his family did not want him to be involved because he didn't have it. He didn't have it. He hasn't had it for a long time. And it's getting to the point now that money's getting real. Money's getting big. I mean, they signed that Netflix deal for what? 1.8 bill? 1.5?
Oh yeah.
Something. It was nearing 2 billion, right? I don't want Vince McMahon anywhere near a $2 billion deal. I don't want him to even think about it, right? I'm angry that he's reading in the papers.
And he was near it.
He was too close. He was too close. And that's what I'm saying. There was some corporate bullshit going on there. And is Vince McMahon innocent? Probably. Is Vince McMahon a sex pest? Most billionaires, I think, are to some extent. But is he a rapist shitting on women and like trafficking them, right? I don't know. I don't think so. He could.
Definitely the funniest outcome.
Would I believe it if it turns out to be true? Yeah, 100%.
We have a comment here saying maybe he shouldn't have allegedly shit on that chick's head, though.
Allegedly.
Listen,
Keyword allegedly.
It allegedly happened, and she also allegedly got paid to have her head shit on.
Yeah, so look, I don't want to get on the weeds on that one. The point is, Vince is gone. It sucks. Like I said, I wish he could have whatever. Hey, maybe one day, because he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, right?
It is a net extreme positive that he's gone.
He's not in the Hall of Fame, right?
That's a good question. I don't
No. Yeah.
Is he in his own Hall of Fame?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, one day, I hope he beats the allegations and he comes back and they put him in the Hall of Fame. But until then, I don't want to see him. I don't want him anywhere near the product. WWE is better than it's ever been. I think it's going to be. I don't want it to go to Netflix because I don't want to have to pay for Netflix. But when it gets on Netflix, I think it's going to reach a level that we haven't seen in a long time, because I've been having this conversation with the people a lot over the past year or so, but they'll be like, oh, I remember wrestling back in my day with Stone Cold and The Rock, and it was huge. And I keep having to explain, it's like, okay, that's cool. But it's bigger now than it ever literally was at any point, right? Like, it's bigger now. Like, you know that, right? And that's really hard, I think, for people to understand, because they think a lot of people still think it's like some backwater thing, not understanding that like young people are into it like bigly. Like we were when we were kids. Kids now are doing the same thing to like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, right? Like, just because like they haven't, because like those guys were big in their time, right? But they're bigger now than they were then, if that makes sense, because they're bigger in memory, right? They were big, but they're culturally ubiquitous now, but they weren't really back then, because wrestling still had a big stigma back then. Like, big stigma.
I was going to actually interject there, because I feel like the current like young generation is almost primed for it more than ever, because like things like Zoomers now growing up in a time where anime is normalized, for example, and like other forms of fantastical content. It's like, I think the population wants that escapism, and they want like they're more tolerant of like larger than life like drama stories, and I think that like it's probably got more of a potential platform now than ever. So
I agree. Anyway,
we all agree that Prime Bottle looked clean on the mat, by the way.
I did. I don't mind the in-ring advertising. I don't mind it on the Trons. I don't mind any of it. I think, if it's more money for the product and it keeps the product chugging along smoothly, I think it's fine. I kind of even liked it, because
there were some people complaining about how much advertising there was in the stadium, saying it was distracting. It didn't bother me.
Have they ever watched UFC? Have they ever watched boxing? Have they ever watched literally any other sport?
No, they haven't.
It's because that's the thing. It's honestly amazing wrestling went this. Have you ever seen boxers' shorts?
Well,
Huh?
that brings you to Brock Lesnar.
Oh, with the Jimmy
Could we
Johns,
see a
yeah.
day where advertisers have sponsorships on wrestlers' gear. Now, Brock was his own he was his own entity with the Jimmy Johns on the shorts, but could we see that someday?
I think so. I think so.
Could Sam Bankman-Fried put FTX on someone's gear?
All right. Well,
No,
hey,
because
that's a
that
perfect
motherfucker's in jail.
stupid statement to sign off on. All right, we'll be back. Oh, hey, UFL happened this week too. Who cares? We'll be back next week with news. Maybe we'll talk about UFL. Who knows? I'm not even really watching it. I don't give a shit. My parents are
I
watching it.
haven't watched it yet. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I saw my parents watching the Battlehawks. They're big Battlehawks guys because of AJ McCarron.
Well, I mean that's our team, right? I mean that's the horse we're riding.
Speak for yourself. I'm on the Stallions, a literal horse.
Don't fucking
It's
say
Stallions,
our
yeah.
team here, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be the first stallion you've ridden. I don't know what that means.
What did he mean by this? Anyway,
I don't know.
we'll
What did he
find
mean
out
by
what he
this?
meant by that next week on Beefy Ball. Good night, everyone.